Hi everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time here, and welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. Today I am doing a book haul of books that I have acquired in the month of September or thereabouts. So I'm recording this right at the end of September. There's possibility that there'll be more books to come, but I'll just include those in my next haul video if I do. So these books have come from a couple of different places. So I am going to go through and I will roughly tell you where they've come from. So the first 4 books that I'm going to show you are books that I've purchased brand new, and the rest all came from the same little free library while I was on a trip to Pearl Beach, which is a beautiful part of New South Wales, just north of Sydney, and I was there with my husband's family. So yeah, we found the little free library by the beach, which I should have taken photos of. It's very cute. All right, so let's get into the books that I have acquired this month. So the first one is Violeta by Isabel Allende. I got this for $10. I was so excited. It's a hardback. And my local Kmart had it. In my last book haul, I mentioned a couple of books that I had picked up from my local Kmart, which I don't generally tend to do a lot of book shopping at Kmart, but the prices are usually quite low comparatively, and especially they'll also try and clear stock because they'll bring things in and then they've got new things coming in all the time. So they obviously had some of these to clear and they had reduced it down to $10. So I was very, very happy to find that. So I read a book by Isabel Allende called The House of the Spirits earlier this year, I should say. Probably, I think, roughly June, July. And I really enjoyed it. So I'm interested to see how her writing has changed, because that book was written, I think, back in the 80s maybe, and this is her 2022 release, if I'm not mistaken. So she's still very prolific as an author. Let me just confirm. That's 2022. So I'll be interested to see what's sort of similar and what has changed as time has changed and the context in which books are written has changed. So yeah, looking forward to getting to this one at some point, probably next year. The other book that I bought that is a 2022. Actually, these are all 2022 releases. These first 4 is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. I have heard only good things about this book, and I am very much looking forward to reading something so that sounds so interesting. So essentially, this is a secret coven of witches hidden among us, and they're known as Her Majesty's Royal Coven. They protect crown and country from magical forces and otherworldly evil, but their greatest enemy will come from within. There are whisperings of a prophecy that will bring the coven to its knees, and 4 best friends are about to be caught at the centre. Will Helena, Neve, Leonie and Elle be able to stop the prophecy before it's too late, or will the differences that have seen them grow apart since childhood be too great to overcome? Life as a modern witch was never simple, but now it's about to get apocalyptic. So it certainly sounds like a really interesting book, and I'm very excited to get to that one. This is a book I don't actually know much about, but on the strength of the cover alone and also the author, I read a book of hers also this year, the name of which escapes me, but I'll put it up on the screen. So I purchased this one called Julia and the Shark by Kiran Millwood Hargrave with Tom DeFreston. And it says on the back, "My name is Julia. This is the story of the summer I almost lost my mum and found a shark older than trees. Don't worry though, that doesn't spoil the ending." So I, again, know next to nothing about the plot of this story, but I think I would prefer to go into this not knowing and just to enjoy this story. The next one that I got is called, it's a brand new release called Notorious Sorcerer by Davinia Evans. Again, I don't know much about the plot, but let me read to you the back of the book. So it says, welcome to Bezium, or Bezium, where sword-slinging bravi race through the night, and where rich and idle alchemists make magic out of mixing the four planes of reality. Sion Velo, dockside brat turned petty alchemist, scrapes a living hopping between the planes to harvest ingredients for the city's alchemists. But when Sion accidentally commits an act of impossible magic, he's catapulted into the limelight, which is a bad place to be when the planes start lurching out of alignment, threatening to send the city into the sea. It will take a miracle to save Bezium. Good thing Sion has pulled off the impossible before. Now he has to master it. A dazzling fantasy debut, bursting with wild magic, chaotic sword fighting, street gangs, brazen flirting, malevolent harpies, and one defiant alchemist. So it sounds like a great fantasy romp, and I am here for it. So very excited to get to this one. So those were my 4 brand new books that I purchased in the month of September. And then we picked up some books in as I said, at Pearl Beach in the little free library. And I will show them to you now. The first one does not look like much, but perhaps from these little character drawings, you'll know that this is a Milne book, and it is Now We Are 6. Now, this has certainly seen better days. Somebody has torn out the first 2 pages, but the rest of the book is in fairly good condition, and also, of course, it's had a bit of a battering, but it's otherwise in great condition. So I already own this book, but I just kind of, something just drew me to the purple and to the little, just the little bits of damage that have been done to this book. So I thought I'd grab it and add it to my collection. Now, the next 2 books, I actually have never heard of these authors before, and I don't know anything about them. They're old, and so I guess just as a curiosity. So I picked them up because I thought, you know what, like, if they're terrible, I'll just put them back in another free library. No big deal. So the first one is called With Hooves of Brass by Robert S. Close. So it's part of the Horowitz Australian Library. Originally cost $1.50. And again, the first page has been pulled out. So this was written or published back in 1961. And I think the thing that kind of gets me, so I'll read the back to you, but just so that you know, it concludes with the sentence, "It is a book by a very important Australian writer." I've never heard of him, so I mean, perhaps he's one of those very important Australian writers that has sort of gone to, into obscurity as the years have gone on. But let me read the blurb. "There is something about an Australian story, about the land and its people, that is different. Australians, despite their self-consciousness in regards to their origins, are a unique people. They are also like other people in their loneliness and their courage and their struggles. Robert Close has here told a story about an isolated group of Australians who live and strive in the high timber country. It is a simple story, but it is strong. It is about very real people, very Australian people. It is about death and the denial of humanity, about sex and sin, and the calm determination of hard, strong, ordinary people to survive the violence of life. It is a book by a very important Australian writer who was born in 1903. I haven't heard of any of the other novels that are mentioned here either. But anyway, that's the book. So I have no idea if it's going to be any good or if it's going to be terrible, probably, possibly racist, sexist, all the rest of it, just given when it was published, but we'll see. So that will be an interesting thing to find out. Another one that I don't know anything about is called A Pattern of Islands by Arthur Grimble, unabridged, thankfully. So again, this is a bit of a battered paperback, and certainly has, you can even see it on the camera, has seen better days. But it was first published in 1952. And basically this appears to be a book about, so it's about the Gilbert and Ellice Island. So it says, a remarkable book about the Gilbert and Ellice Islanders of the Pacific. It has sold over 650,000 books in its British editions. Here is something extra to Sir Arthur Grimble's famous broadcasts. Some of the highlights of what The Spectator called excellent yarns are a hilarious lesson in native manners, live human bait as a sensational way of catching an octopus, witchcraft in the family oven, demonstrations of whistling ghosts, the extraordinary calling of the porpoises. I mean, this 100% sounds like it's going to be super racist. And I guess what drew me to it was just wanting to, because I've never read a book published in that era about people from the islands or any kind of First Nations people, I guess. So I'm interested from the perspective of just sort of seeing how things have changed in the terms of how people are presented and spoken about. So yeah, that's what I'm interested in. I know this is going to be racist. So I'm just kind of interested to know. I would never send this person money. So I got this book for free. And if it is really, really atrocious, then I won't even put it back in a little free library. I will recycle it. So that's A Passion of Islands by Arthur Grimble. The last one I got, though, is very exciting. It is Hogfather by Terry Pratchett. Now, I'm only just sort of getting into Terry Pratchett. I read Going Postal last year or the year before, I think, and loved it. Absolutely loved it. I think from memory, I ended up giving it 5 stars. And my husband is quite keen for me to get into it because he has read a lot, or maybe not a lot, but several of the Discworld novels. Particularly, he wants me to get into the witches, the books that focus around the witches. This is not one of them. This is one of the ones that is part of Death, the character Death. Yeah, and it's the 20th novel in Discworld. So yeah. Anyway, it says, where is the big jolly fat man? Why is Death creeping down chimneys and trying to say ho ho ho? The darkest night of the year is getting a lot darker. Susan, the Gothic governess, has got to sort it out by morning. Otherwise, there won't be a morning ever again. The 20th Discworld novel is a festive feast of darkness and death, but with jolly robins and tinsel too. As they say, you'd better watch out. So yeah, I will at some point get to this. I'm not intending to get to it soon. But it sounds like one that would be fun to read in December. So perhaps when I've read the preceding ones about death, to this one, I'm not sure where this sits in the cycle, in Death's cycle, as part of the Discworld series. But once I've read the ones that precede it, I will get to this one. But, you know, you can't pass up a free book in a series that you are intending to read, surely. So excited to have that one. So that's basically it, guys. This is my stack for the month of September. I'm about to head on a little trip where I will definitely be doing some more book shopping, secondhand book shopping. So I will be coming to you with another book haul, I would say pretty soon. So I thought I'd better show you these before I start acquiring more books. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye!